Hi, welcome to Coral & Co. I'm Shelly, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make two different styles of baby hats. These little baby hats are simply adorable. The first style is going to be a basic baby hat. The second is a little top knot baby hat that is so cute. Both of these baby hat patterns are available as a free download on my website, coralandco.com. This project is going to take you about 15 minutes. The supplies you are going to need for making the baby hat are the baby hat pattern, which can be downloaded at www.coralandco.com. Knit fabric, jersey knit spandex or lycra that has at least 50% stretch, scissors or a rotary blade cutter, a self-healing rotary mat, a clear plastic ruler, stretch thread, pins and or clips, jersey ballpoint sewing machine needles, and an iron, and an ironing board or pressing mat, and a sewing machine. For this project, you're going to want to use a jersey knit spandex fabric that has at least 50% stretch. That's going to be so it fits nice and tight over the baby's head. Now that we have reviewed the supplies that you'll need and gone over the basics of knit fabric, we're ready to get started. To get started with this tutorial, you are going to want to go to www.coralandco.com and download and print the pattern. You can download or print both the top knot and basic baby hat pattern. Then you are going to want to start by taping the pattern together. Make sure to line up all the scissors on the pattern to make sure that everything lines up accurately. All right, to get started, we are going to be taping together the baby hat pattern. You can tape or you can glue. So you're just gonna apply a little bit of glue or tape right along here. It's gonna overlap just a little. Don't worry if there's glue, no big deal. We're gonna apply the other pieces here as well. All right, we're all done and we're ready to get started cutting. After we've taped it together, we're gonna start by measuring this 1 inch square on the pattern to make sure that it is printed correctly. And then you're gonna wanna select the correct size of the pattern. Today I'm gonna be sewing 0 to 3 months. This is one of my most popular posts on my site, and I've had so many requests for a video, and I'm so excited to finally be sharing it with you. Baby hats are a wonderful way to keep your baby's head nice and warm, as well as making a great baby shower gift. All right, so now we're gonna cut out the baby hat band, which goes around the bottom of the baby's head, and it keeps the baby's hat on nice and snug. So we are gonna start by placing the stretch perpendicular to us. And I'm gonna start by cutting the baby top hat. So we're gonna place it on here. Remember, I'm doing 0 to 3 months, so mine fits in here. And you can use a rotary cutter, or you can use just your scissors. I really like rotary blade cutters. We're gonna put that one off for a minute. All right, so you're gonna wanna make sure the stretch is going in the direction of the arrow. So we're just gonna cut, and then we're gonna cut all through here. So we're simply gonna cut here, and I'm gonna give it a little turn, make sure it's lined up again, and you're gonna cut it out this way. And then you're just gonna go down into the divot and repeat for the other side. And now we have 2 pieces. So we're going to set those aside for a minute. And now we're going to come back and place the stretch towards yourself. And we're going to place this on the fold. Sometimes I just like to tuck it under just a little. That way I can see what I'm doing. And then we're going to go ahead and cut again. And you can use your scissors or you can use a rotary blade cutter. It is totally up to you. Turn. We're doing our 0 to 3 month size pattern. And that's also what I'm going to do for the top knot. And we're going to go ahead and cut the top knot pattern out as well. We're going to hang on to that piece. All right, and now we've got our top right there. All right, we're also going to go ahead and cut out the top knot pattern while we're here. All right, so for the top knot, I've got another piece. We're just going to simply lay it down and we're going to do the same thing that we just did. I'm going to cut out size 0 to 3 months. All right, push that away. I like to give it a little turn. And then just right at the top, give it a little. All right, done with that. We can throw all of those away. All right, and then we have our top knot piece. Right, and we're gonna quickly cut out the band. And the very last piece. I really love when the baby hats have matching top and bottom, but I also think that they're super cute when you coordinate the pieces. So I've gone ahead and cut another little bottom hat band, and I am going to be mixing and matching them. So we've got these two and we are ready to start clipping them so we can sew them, all right? Sometimes jersey knit really likes to curl on its edges, so I've got a great tip for you. You're going to be taking some starch. I like the heavy duty, any kind will work. You can find it at the store. And simply spray the edges if they start to curl, and then press them with your iron. Easy peasy, and it makes it so much easier to sew with. All right, so we're gonna take our hat band and we are going to place it right side together. Then I'm gonna take my clips and I'm just simply going to clip. You can also pin. I've got some pins. Either way works. All right, these ones have this cute little V in them. And this, when you sew it together, kind of makes it so it's gonna curve around the baby's head. head, the baby's head. It's gonna curve around the baby's head. All right, so we're gonna fold the dark pieces together, and you can pin them if you'd like. I usually don't. It's just such a short piece. And you're just gonna fold them in half, just like that. All right, and now we're gonna get started with the sewing machine. Probably the most important tip I have for you when sewing with jersey knit is going to be using stretch thread. This is Eloflex stretch thread. And the great thing about it, as the name suggests, it really stretches. Okay, so this will help prevent the stitches from popping. My other tip is going to be using jersey knit or stretch needles. These needles are specifically made to pull the thread apart and go in instead of tearing through the knit fabric. So we're gonna go ahead and we're going to thread our sewing machine. You really only need to thread the top of your sewing machine and with the Eloflex, and it's fine to keep your regular thread on the bottom of the sewing machine. And then we're gonna go ahead and just select a straight stitch to sew the baby hat with. So we're gonna take your baby hat piece and we're gonna place it under the presser foot here. And you're gonna be sure to back stitch. And we are using 1/4 inch seam allowance. So you're gonna back stitch to start to secure it in place. And then we're gonna sew down the baby hat using 1/4 inch seam allowance. And go ahead and back stitch again when you get to the end. Trim your threads. And then we are going to be sewing the dark part. You're just going to place it under and back stitch. And back stitch one more time. All right, and the second one. Make sure to back stitch. One of the reasons that using a jersey or a stretch needle is also important is that sometimes a universal needle will skip stitches, and that's never fun. It always makes me want to tear my hair out, actually. I can't figure out what's going on. All right, so now we have those pieces. We're gonna give it a little iron, and we're just gonna give this a nice little iron. You can just open the seams up here, or you can just really press them to one side, however you prefer. Just giving a nice little press. And repeat. And then we're going to press open the seams on the baby hat. So it just has a nice crisp seam and it lays flat. You can see how nicely that lays. Now we're going to take these two take our top pieces and we are going to simply, you can use pins if you prefer, or you can use clips. And we're gonna clip them together. You're gonna line up the seams and clip them together, or pin, whatever you prefer. And repeat for the sides. All right, and we're gonna sew again. We're gonna go ahead and backstitch to start, of course. Make sure all of our seams are secure. And we're gonna sew around. Now, this is a curved piece, so you might just have to sew slowly and just kind of lift and turn just a little bit as you sew along the curve. And again, we're using 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. When you get to the end, backstitch again. Now we're gonna give the baby hat band a little press again. So we're going to be folding it in half. Just fold it in half. So it's a nice flat seam, not a lot of bulk. And now we're gonna take the baby hat top and we're just gonna kind of roll these seams nice and flat. And then we're gonna press it. And this just helps to give it a nice crisp look. Now we are going to attach the baby hat top and the baby hat bottom. We're gonna turn it this way so the raw edge is facing down. First, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna fold it in half, and you're just gonna mark with a pin where those in half marks are. And so now we're gonna have 4 quarters to the baby hat pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 different pieces. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna line up the raw edges here. The hat top and the hat bottom. And I like to pin. So I'm going to go ahead and I like to take the seam allowance and pin the seam allowance in place. It's just a nice way to line up the hat. So we've pinned the seam allowance. And then we're going to go to the other side. So you're just going to find your half. And we're going to pin those in place. And then you're going to find the middle of the baby hat. You can usually tell where those darts are. Find that middle. And you're going to pin again. And one more time, you're going to find the middle. Right here. Take that pin out and pin again. All right, so the baby hat is now pinned in 4 different places. So we're gonna go ahead and start to sew the hat band to the baby hat top. Take off the little arm on your sewing machine. This is called a free arm right here, where there's just a piece that a circle will fit around and make it a lot easier to sew. Almost every sewing machine comes with this feature. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and backstitch to start, securing that in place. And make sure that the baby hat top and the hat band are lined up. And then start to sew. Give it one more backstitch. And then we're done sewing. And now we're gonna use our iron and just give it a nice little press at the end to crispen the seams up and make it look beautiful. All right, so you're just gonna go in and you're just gonna give it a little press. Just give it a little press on those seams. Turn and flip. And then when you're all done, we're just gonna go over the top as well. Just one more time. And then I'm gonna fold this little band upward. And press it one more time. And now you have the cutest little baby hat. All right, so we've learned how to sew the basic baby hat. Now we're gonna learn how to sew the top knot hat. Don't worry, it's not too different. Super easy. Once again, for the top knot hat pattern, I have gone ahead and picked a coordinating fabric to go with it. So I have my top knot piece and I have my hat band. Right? I think they look super cute together. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna sew the hat band. We're gonna pin and sew the hat band just like we did the other one. Easy peasy. For the top knot piece, we are gonna place right sides together. And you can pin if you'd like, a couple pins, or you can clip. It's up to you. Just a little something to hold it in place. And now we're gonna go ahead and sew a 1/4 inch seam around the top of the hat, and we're gonna end leaving the hole open, the bottom of the hat open. We're also gonna sew down the short side of the baby hat band. Place the short side under the presser foot and go ahead and backstitch to secure in place. And then we're gonna sew slowly. Give it a little back stitch, and then we're gonna lift. Trim your threads. Now we're gonna place the baby hat top knot under here. Now as you come to these little curvy pieces, you're going to sew slow, and as you reach the top, you're going to lift your presser foot. Stop, lift your presser foot and pivot. Sew a couple stitches and pivot, and sew a couple more stitches and pivot. When you're all done, we're going to trim the threads. We're going to take our baby hat band and we are going to press that seam nice and flat. And then we're going to fold it in half. And press. You're going to take the top knot piece and trim any threads that are on there, and then we're going to take it and we're going to turn it right side out. You can use your finger or you can use a turning point tool or any pencil, pen, anything that's straight. Turn it right side out. And you're just going to roll these seams. Just roll the seams. Roll them along the whole hat. Try to turn them out the right way. And then we're going to press. Give it one more press. Just make the seams nice and crisp. Right. Once again, we're going to go ahead and we are going to attach the hat band to the baby hat. We're going to place the hat band facing downward, so we're going to line up the raw edges. Remember, I said I like to mark the the quarters with a pin. So, marking the quarters with a pin makes it just a little bit easier when I put that hat band on. And we're going to give it one last sew. Place the hat on the free arm. Go ahead and line up the raw edges, making sure they're all lined up. We're going to give a nice little back stitch. We're doing a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Going to give the hat band a little press. Turn and press. And then we're going to fold the hat band on top and press one more time. And now we're going to tie the top knot in a knot. For more of these fun ideas and tutorials, visit my website, coralandco.com. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like this video, hit the like button. And if you love this video, consider sharing it with a friend. I'll see you next time. Bye.